Hi guys, and welcome to my video. In this video, I want to give you guys an introduction to parts on Roblox. So you're going to want to open up Roblox Studio or download it if you don't have it, which requires a PC generally. And so there are two things that you want to have open to really understand what you're doing with the parts and how to work with them very precisely. So in order to generate a part, you come up to the home menu here and select the button right here, part. It usually starts off with a brick like this. The first thing you want to do is kind of look at the information provided in the properties, right? You can see things like its color, you can see things like its material, you can see things like its size, and all these things really are adjustable. So if you want to create a certain thing, you can change these parameters and create the kind of bricks or blocks or shapes, parts that you want, right? And if you go to the Explorer, you can see the part that we have generated, okay? You can also change the name to really whatever you want. And let's see, if you come here, there are a few options that you can choose from, right? You have a sphere, you have wedges, a cylinder. So you have a few things that you can work with right off the bat, but there are more options as you become more advanced, which leads me to this part of the video. Up here we have a few tools or functions, and each one has an associated gizmo that you can work with. For example, this is the move tool, which allows you to move any part in the XYZ plane, right? Up, down, left, right. This tool is the scale tool, and you can use it to make the parts bigger or smaller depending on what your purposes are, right? Let's move that up so we can see it, right? Just a sphere. The other tool we have here is the rotate tool. Okay, so again, we have the associated gizmo. You can work with it, kind of move it around as your heart desires. And one thing you'll notice that as I move the part, you'll notice that the numbers here in the properties change. So right now I'm moving the orientation, those numbers are changing. But if I went over to scale it, right, you'll notice how the size changes. You get the different dimensions that go up and down. So depending on what you're trying to build, you can get exactly that. Now there's another aspect that's important to building with blocks, and that is the material that it's made out of, or the color. So for example, you can change the color here in a broad sense, or you can come a little bit more precisely and adjust the color with this special wheel here. And the number values are given here, red, blue, green, right? The different numbers represent each color, and of course the combination changes the ultimate color here, right? So again, you might not be happy with the type of material. This is plastic, or at least appears to be plastic, and it will have the properties of plastic. So Roblox is really good about creating lifelike physics. So if you have a plastic part, it may behave like plastic, and it may like float in water, for example. Another example would be if you change it to metal. As you can see, it's reflective. You can see the light reflecting off of it, and it should sink in water. So keep that in mind when you're working with parts, that the physics of the parts also change, and that changes the way your game behaves and functions ultimately. So I encourage you guys to play with this if you haven't already, and experiment with what you can come up with for your games. I'd love to see ultimately, if you guys ever want to share that, that'd be great. But I wish you the best of luck, and I hope that this has helped you in some way, shape, or form. And I would ask if you would, please subscribe or leave a comment. I like if you found this to be informative. I really appreciate your time, and have a nice day.